The Super Bowl has settled in, and the Eagles are back to the drawing board. Howie Roseman with a tough call to make here very soon. We have some new reports on that, and I'll ultimately tell you what I think the right choice is. Also, A.J. Brown opens up on the ups and downs of his relationship with Jalen Hurts. Some really cool insight that we have not heard before. And the Green Bay Packers have turned into whining little crybabies because they can't stop the brotherly shove. Nobody can. We'll talk about it all, but welcome into A to Z Philly. I'm RB. You can follow me on all socials at RB Philly Take. I cover the Eagles here for A to Z Sports, and I'm very thankful for everybody who has been a part of the journey. So just want to say shout out to everybody who taps in and listens to these episodes. But we must start it off with our boy Vic Fangio. Yo, if you thought Vic was a psycho, well, I'm about to multiply it times 20. Ladies and gentlemen, Jalix Hunt says that after the Super Bowl, the team was prepping for the Super Bowl parade route. Vic Fangio got the defense together, made them stay back, and go over the Super Bowl second half. Gets to the second half and says, quote, "This is unacceptable. Unacceptable. 22 points. He wants perfection." Yo, Vic Fangio is an absolute sicko. He is a psycho, and I love every little bit of it. This guy isn't even satisfied. He's going to go back and be even better next year. How can you get even better? Vic, I got a little beef with you here, man. It was only 6 points. Let's be honest. It was only 6. The Chiefs couldn't muster up anything, but maybe he won 0. Vic Fangio is an absolute addict to the game of football. He wants absolute perfection. He has OCD, and I love every little second of it. So shout out to Super Bowl champion Vic Fangio. CJ Gardner-Johnson responded to this saying, yeah, same face in that meeting. This guy is awesome, man. Boy, I'm so happy to have Vic Fangio back. I wish Kellen was back too, but unfortunately, things like that happen when you win. Speaking of winning, nobody can stop the Eagles from winning because nobody can stop the brotherly shove. It is essentially an automatic play. And Troy Vincent says that an unnamed NFL team officially made a proposal to ban the tush push. So here we are again. What is this? Part 2, part 3, part 4? Who knows? Every year. Oh, can we ban the tush push? Oh, we're going to whine and cry like little babies because we don't know how to stop something. Think about your life. Think about the choices you make when an obstacle gets in front of you, when a challenge is presented. Do you just cry and give up, or do you go figure out how to stop it? It will head towards a possible vote in March by owners at league meetings. I don't see how they ban it because they have tried before. But then this came out from Warren Sharp saying that it was the Packers who want it banned. Packers president Mark Murphy comments on banning the tush push. He says, quote, "I'm not a fan of this play. There is no skill involved. It's almost an automatic first down on plays of a yard or less. The series of plays with the Commanders jumping off sides in the NFC Championship to try to stop the play was ridiculous. The referee even threatened to give the Eagles an automatic touchdown if the Commanders didn't stop, blah, 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 blah. There used to be a rule prohibiting this, but it is no longer enforced." Here's the thing, Mark Murphy. You can't stop it. They beat your ass with it, and now you're crying. Wah, wah. Here's an idea. How about you draft the biggest O-line in the NFL? You know why it works for the Eagles? Because they have absolute mammoths up front. He says there's no skill in this play. So how come every team can't execute it to perfection? You know what I mean? If there was no skill, every team could do it. If there was no skill, everyone could do it. Only the Eagles can do it. Other teams are trying it. They get hurt. They get stopped. They fumble the ball. The Eagles also have a quarterback that can deadlift 600 pounds. So there's an idea. Instead of whining, maybe you should be trying to address how your team imploded in the last couple weeks of the season and then got cooked by the Eagles in the wild card round. All right, that's all I got on that, man. Bunch of crybabies, man. Just because they can't stop it, they want it banned. Unbelievable. Let's talk about the man himself, a guy who was stopping everything on the defensive end, Darius Slay. I know he's had his back and forth this year, with the Eagles fan base, but man, I wanted this guy from the beginning. Yeah, I've been frustrated with him at times, but heck of a season, man. Heck of a season, heck of a career. Darius Slay, Super Bowl champ, All-Pro, 6-time Pro Bowler. Look at these numbers, man. He's a Hall of Famer. I think he's going to be a Hall of Famer, absolutely. And it was so cool that he was actually honored in his home state of Georgia and was given a key to the city of Brunswick. The town had a parade for Big Play Slay and he got emotional. Man, that is awesome. Full circle moment. And you talk about full circle, you go back to last off season, Darius Slay wasn't even supposed to be here. Big Dom had to call him up on the phone and say, you are staying. Darius Slay had already agreed to a deal with the Ravens because Howie had cut him and we thought it was over. And Howie, somehow got convinced to call him, work out the cap magic, bring him back for one more year. And he had one of the best seasons of his career. And he led the NFL in deflections. I mean, this guy had an all-time year for his career, and it ends with him holding the Lombardi Trophy. And it just goes full circle, man. So happy that he was here and got to be a part of it. And he talked about playing in front of Philly fans on the St. Brown podcast. He said they hold you accountable. That's what you can say. If you're a first-round pick, you better play like a first-round talent. And if you're on the field, everybody is a first-rounder. This is a guy that just gets it, man. He gets it. He played for Detroit, passionate fan base. He saw the lows, comes to Philadelphia, and now he is seeing the highs, man. So shout out to Darius Slay. But now the question is, what does Howie Roseman do? And Elliott Shore-Parks is reporting that Darius Slay is likely to be cut or traded this offseason. And it says here that trading Slay prior to June 1 would result in a dead money charge of $22.7 million and would actually decrease Philly's cap space. But if they cut him post June 1, that would create $4.32 million of cap space and saddle the team with over $9 million of dead money. So the question is, what do they do? It kind of feels like they brought him back for this last hurrah, and we always knew that his time would probably be up here after this year. I mean, he played so damn good. If he wants to go for one more journey with Philly, I would love to have him back. But I understand where Howie Roseman is coming from. Go back to the last Super Bowl. His one big mistake, his fatal flaw, was getting too attached to the older players. He gave them extensions. It got really bad. No, I don't think that would happen here. And another thing, which, maybe is me oversimplifying it, but I am such a big believer in the Vic Fangio bend but don't break system now, but also playing sticky in coverage. Like, he has figured out every little maneuver, every little inch of that defense. It's almost like whoever they bring in, if they do replace Darius Slay, is going to have a solid year no matter what. I just believe in the system, the philosophy. They can plug and play certain guys. I mean, you brought 2 rookies in, and look how good they were, and look at how they thrived in this system. So, if this is the end of Darius Slay, I'm not mad at it, and I do think that is what it's trending towards. And I think, Slay said he wants to go back to Detroit to retire there. Look, I think this is ultimately the right decision. You have Isaiah Rodgers, who you have to decide whether you want to pay or not in free agency. No, he wasn't great, but there were times where he had to fill in. Keep in mind, Slay was going out every single game with a minor tweak or injury, and I thought Rodgers did a pretty good job for a guy that didn't even play the whole last season. You have guys like Keely Ringo who have showed flashes at times, and you think Howie Roseman's going to go through a draft and not draft a corner now after what he saw this year from his guys? You think he's not going to go in and draft, I don't know, an edge rusher, right? If Josh Sweat, Milton Williams leaves. So even if an older guy like Slay leaves, they have the core intact. That's how beautiful this thing has been drawn up and played out. I'm not too worried about it. And I do think the right decision is to probably try to get a little bit younger and prioritize a guy who you can keep for the next 3-4 years and really make him comfortable in that Fangio system. And like I said, Darius Slay led the league in deflections. Like, he was amazing. His stats were great, and he's holding that Lombardi Trophy. And really, that's all that matters. He was a great mentor for the young guys. Shore Park suggests Isaiah Rodgers, who's a popular and vocal player, could be retained on a fairly modest 2-year contract around $10 million. So honestly, I think that's where we take it. I don't want to see Cooper DeJean on the outside. I think he's so comfortable as that nickel corner that he's going to continue to thrive there. And I think that this is how they should play it out moving forward. But give me your thoughts down below. Would you be okay with Slay going? And I want to talk about A.J. Brown here for a second, because he opened up about his relationship with Jalen Hurts, saying, quote, "I'd be lying to tell you we never had issues. We're 2 alphas who want to be the best, demand greatness from each other and everyone around us. Some reports are true, some are not, but me and him are good, man. We just want to be great, and sometimes we bump heads, but that's normal. Don't nobody sweat it. It's normal with the history of this team with McNabb and T.O. It's magnified times 10. I mean, these guys have been best friends off the field. You go back to that call where Jalen Hurts, reached out to him when he was traded to Philly, said, we're going to win this thing. I was watching the mic'd up footage, getting emotional, hearing Jalen hug AJ, and just thank him for everything and tell him like, hey, remember that moment when we said we were going to do this? All the controversy that has been created. This is what professionals do. They figure it out, they move together, and they have a really strong relationship. And a lot needs to be said. There needs to be a lot of apology to these guys for never letting all the noise creep in too far where it steers them off the track. Just true professionals. And I love how AJ is not afraid to open up about it. A lot of people get on AJ about not being vocal. Well, here it is. He's telling you, hey, we've had our challenges. We've had our downs. A lot of people did on this team, but we worked through it. We're a great combination, and we still have a lot of great years left. So shout out to the main two here in Jalen Hurts and AJ for keeping the main thing the main thing. And lastly, we will have a great moment of appreciation because even Skip Bayless, the fraud Cowboy fan he is, has given up on that dirty franchise and is now putting on a Jalen Hurts jersey. I will give him credit. Since like week 5 or 6, he has been saying the Eagles are going to win the Super Bowl, and now he loves the Eagles. So that's how bad that franchise is. They've literally broken Skip Bayless. That's all I got. Give me all your thoughts down below. What do you think comes next for the Philadelphia Eagles? As always, appreciate everybody for tapping in. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll catch you on the next one.